Alright, I'm gonna speed this one up a bit because it's just another Sid Rains Aphmau run in a lot of ways, and I'm sure we've all seen plenty of these by now. There is a little bit of, I'll just call it variation, due to the fact that some things kind of went a little wonky in this. You can kind of tell by the fact that I just brought a bronze Aranea, basically. I was going for 0 ingots, and this was my way of getting there. So I brought Aranea to apply her Vital Crusher debuff. This will allow us to do critical damage to sort of deal with the orb without breaking them, which we'll see a lot of. Now Rains does a lot of single target damage, so you have to be kind of careful here. The orb is 1 tick up for doing critical damage and 1 tick up for doing ranged damage. Neither Aphmau nor Rains will do ranged damage, and so as you take a turn, the orb ticks. Oh, and I think I paused it here for a second, so they're all just going to kind of stand there. Anyways, if you only add 1 tick to the orb and you take a turn, then what happens is the orb just kind of stays at the same spot. Now, this part was really awkward. I didn't want to actually use Aphmau's LD so early, but without it, really Rains at this point is the only one who can do anything about all that brave. And so without pulling Rains up, then B would have killed. I think he's targeting Rains or Aranea, I can't tell, but yeah, we need to bring that brave down, and Rains did it. And unfortunately though, we've started the combo ridiculously early. But Aranea has applied Vital Crusher now to both enemies, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, and so we're going to swap her out, and we're going to use Bartz's BT, his burst, and then we will do the Aphmau Rains combination with Bartz's burst up. Now, the problem is we've started the combination without Bartz's burst being at 3 stacks, and so that kind of stinks. So I summon early. I didn't want to originally do that. Originally, I wanted to save the summon for when the orb came back at the 49% mark, but, well, I had to use it. And so it gets used here. And so we're going to do our best to get Bartz up to a couple of stacks for his burst. And then we'll do the more traditionally done Rains-Mau combination. And then with Aphmau, once we get out of the summon, you'll see we more often use the I don't even know what it's called. When Aphmau is taking her free turns due to having her EX buff overhead, I'm going to use the HP variant as opposed to the Brave variant, because it targets both enemies, and that will help to manage their orb. But I won't have to worry about that until they get down to 49%. But that will be the plan. Let's see, Bartz is at 2 stacks, so we're going to pull him up. It's actually a decent amount of brave damage, but, we got the Bartz burst up. And we have brought one of the... That was really good timing, because now we can use Bartz to 100% gravity them. So all that brave gain for nothing. And then let's go ahead and target B here. And I was like, oh yeah, now's a good time to go ahead and use that LD call, because Rains is not on a free turn at the moment, which he'll go back to soon. But yeah, we gotta use, can't use the EX yet. Gotta use Renaga Storm. Hitting for 1s on A there, that's rough. One thing to keep in mind is when those extra brave attacks that Rains does when the enemies in the launch, those ignore defense, so that allows Reigns to still do some brave shading even when their defense has been brought up a whole bunch. So Aphmau not hitting very hard, but at least we got the launch off so everybody else could participate. One of the nicer little tricks, yeah, see Reigns is just hitting for ones now, but luckily that burst combined with the Keiss Claw is giving us a lot of brave refund. Yeah, everybody's hitting for ones already. Anyways, where was I? I don't remember. And I'm gonna make, I think we get that to Bart's. We'll make Bart's launch on his next turn, although it's probably gonna be a while before he gets a turn. All those ones. And so yeah, Reigns can still hit hard there because he's ignoring defense. So the reason we're doing ones is high defense, not necessarily brave game reduction, which is two different things. But that kind of makes sense because Prompto is synergy for this, and Prompto has defense ignore. And on that note, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be skipping Prompto. He's not necessarily a favorite of mine. Even among the Final Fantasy XV cast, he's not a favorite of mine. I would say I like Ignis more. Even Noctis, Gladio, all those guys. Yeah, Prompto's probably my least favorite, actually, out of all of them. So, not pulling for Prompto for favorite reasons, and then as far as his kit himself, I do like the idea of him bringing a lot of offensive capabilities for the team itself, boosting his teammates, which I think Ace, if I'm reading Tom Berry Troop's infographic correct, Ace kind of brings something unique like that too. Ace is bringing brave damage up 30% for the whole party. You don't see it a lot in characters who are designed for attacking. But if I'm reading that right, that's pretty interesting. Anyways, where was I? Prompto. Yeah, Prompto brings a decent amount of attack up for the party, which is pretty unique. Prompto doesn't have very many, he doesn't hit very hard as far as, he doesn't have multiple HP dumps. Although you could yeah, he doesn't have multiple HP dumps, so he's not hitting very hard himself on turn. He does have off-turn damage, but not any more than all the other off-turn damagers we have. You know, Core, Ace, True. Well, he probably has more than Trey, but it's just nothing that really stands out to me that doesn't already exist on my roster, and so I'm not going to pull for him for favorite reasons, and I'm not going to pull for him for kit reasons. I'm just not going to go for him. I did not have Arenea's LD prior to this, and I did kind of kick myself plenty of times for not having it, but I did pull 2 of her LDs on the free pull, so I'm happy about that. And Keiss I will very, very likely pull for. I already have most of her kit, and I have her sphered up. Not sphered up. Ingoted up. I have her at 3-3. Although I think I may have given her spheres, I don't remember. Nor do I care, because who cares about spheres? But I do kind of want Ace's Burst, and I still haven't gotten it. And so I'm thinking about getting it on Keiss's banner. We'll see. We don't know if Zack is coming. I wouldn't mind pulling for Zack. I like him as a character. He's got a fun attitude. And he's got a unique kit, which I also like, even though I do have other tanks, but I wouldn't mind having Zack too. And I don't have Ash, so Ash would be a good, unique prize. It's been a while, like, outside of Bart's, it's been a while since we've gotten a really good Imperil Enchanter since Ash. So they've been few and far between, that's for sure. I guess we've been doing a lot with calls, but anyways. So yeah, as far as in the run, we have to be careful about that orb. Now, oh, I know what I was talking about, and then forgot that I was talking about it, was using the Aphmau Reigns combo in the summon. There's a neat little trick where basically it's still it counts as not using a turn within the summon, which pushes the enemy's turns back, kind of. I mean, it doesn't delay or anything like that, but it just causes their turns to move back-ish, kind of. It's a unique mechanic, it's weird, but you'll see it if you do it. Anytime you take a free turn within the summon, you'll notice that everybody else's turn gets moved back when you've taken that free turn, both allies and enemies. And so it kind of moves the enemies back a bit. And that's what ended up happening here. That's why they're not able to really take any turns. Of course, we gave them their first turn. Technically, I think only one of them needs to take a first turn. But we gave them both their first turn before not giving them any more turns, even without like a turn deleter or a delayer or anything like that. But that's how the Aphmau Reigns combo works, is because they're giving each other so many free turns and turn swaps that the amount of turns that are available and built up doesn't allow the enemy to really get any turns. And so, again, I want to make sure, yeah, we ran out of Aphmau LDs. I want to make sure that I use Reigns' LDs before Bartz disappears or swaps back for Aranea. And so, we'll use the final one here. Yeah, a bunch of ones. And so now at this point, Bartz is getting ready to disappear, along with his burst aura, but the enemies are so low that I'm not worried about them getting turns again. I'm just worried about that orb. And interestingly, Aranea will deal range damage, and so as she deals both ranged and critical damage, she will uptick the orb instead of causing it to remain in the same spot. So we'll use her LD here. And alright, I don't have her EX, but I have her LD. I mean, I do have her EX, but I removed it for this, so I could do it as a 0 ingot run. But, 0 HP damage here. Reigns still hitting hard with that defense ignore. As you can see, the bravery fund has dropped quite a bit. With Aranea, I'm going to do a lot of attacks that target both targets in order to manage that orb. I plan on killing A with Reigns pretty soon, and so I'm mostly just worried about B's orb at this point. Not worried about the turn limit. At this point, the only thing that I really have to worry about is the orb, and thanks to Aranea, that's not a big worry. We used Reigns' free turn from his HP plus due to the fact that Reigns is not on a free turn from Aphmau's LD. We're using High Wind here to uptick the orb for both of them. Let's see, HP, yeah, see, we're just doing the HP attack one so that Aphmau targets both to keep that orb going. So I'm a little worried because I'm not sure if B is going to enrage once I kill A, but taking the risk. A was at 2% and is still alive, which was a little disappointing. And so we'll just continue to High Wind with Aranea to deal with that orb. And here it's like, well, do I just kill A? Or do I likely deal more damage to B? So we'll target B there. And now all of our damage is really coming from those extra hits in the air from Reigns. Everybody else is just doing ones. And here I was pleasantly surprised to find that A is within killing range. And Aranea has one thing of overclock left, and so we're going to use Aranea's LD to keep the overclock going, just in case that's needed for whatever reason. And what else am I going to do? I have a bunch of her LDs. I don't have her EX, obviously, to refresh overclock. And so we're going to pull Aphmau up. I think the reason for that was to use Aphmau's free turns to help slowly take down their HP. Not really worried about the orb anymore, thanks to Aranea's Vital Crusher. We're able to deal critical damage. And so with Aphmau, I'm just using abilities that battery everyone to deal more damage. And this will likely do it. Yep, okay, good. I mean, we weren't in trouble or anything. Just would have been a little disappointing if Rains couldn't do 2% damage to them. And so there we have it. Technically 0 orbs, or not orbs, ingots. 0 ingots. Although their orb never went off, so 0 orbs, but 0 ingots. And here you can see Rains is 0 out of 3. Aranea is using a bronze weapon. And Aphmau is 0 out of 3. Thank you for watching. Take care.